Alright, welcome back my friends to the channel. This is Decoding with Cody, and this decode is going to be about something that happened yesterday on WWE Wrestling. And again guys, I've said this many times, wrestling is a huge predictive programming tool they use to tell you about events in real life. They use these scripted events in wrestling to tell us of what's going to happen in the scripted reality news. And last night there was an event in wrestling that was repeated from the wrestling history. And let me explain to you what this is. So, in 2001, 22 days before 9/11/2001, where the Twin Towers came down, a wrestler by the name of Kurt Angle, who was an Olympic gold medalist, right? So he's all about America. And obviously 9/11 was all about America. But 22 days before 9/11/2001, Kurt Angle had one of the most memorable moments in wrestling history, where he came out with a milk truck and he sprayed a group called the Alliance with milk. Okay? And I just want you guys to understand the symbolism here. You have an American wrestler who's a gold medalist using a fire hose, which is what firemen use, and what firemen used on 9/11, right? To put out fires. All right? And you have this coming 22 days before 9/11. And what is 22, guys? Well, it's a twin number, but it's also the number of a master builder. Okay? The master builder, master destroyer number, 22. So exactly 22 days before, you have this symbolic reference to what's going to happen 22 days after this, where the Twin Towers go down and the firemen have to come out with their hoses and spray the fire out. Or America has to put the fire out, right? So America, representing Kurt Angle, who's the American wrestler, has to put out the fire of the Alliance, or should I say the Al-Qaeda, who align themselves to take down the towers. So again, the symbolism is very clear. All right? And now I want you guys to just follow me through this whole decode, and I'm going to show you how this is all tied to the Twin Towers, the twins, the Freemasons, who have the twin pillars, the Yachin and Boaz. So anyway, I'm going to tie all this together. But just remember the 22, guys. Remember, we're in the year of 2022. All right? And this happened, the first Milk-O-Mania, which is what they called this, happened 22 days before the actual 9/11 event. The Master Builder, Master Destroyer, twin number. All right? And now, with 22 days left in 2022, you have Kurt Angle repeating his same ritual on the Alpha Academy. So, in 2001, 22 days before 9/11, he does this on the Alliance. He sprays milk on the Alliance with 22 days before 9/11. And 22 days left in 2022 on Kurt Angle's birthday, by the way. Yesterday was Kurt Angle's birthday in his hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who our president is from Pennsylvania right now, again, which is more symbolism. So again, 22 days before 2001 event in 9/11, and now 22 days left in 2022, he repeats the same ritual. Do you see what I mean, guys? And again, it's the number 22 in the year of 2022 on his birthday, no less, in his hometown. Perfectly scripted. All right? And again, I want you guys to focus on the names of the two different groups that he sprays with milk in these two different times. The first one was called the Alliance. All right? The second one's called Alpha Academy. But before I get to that, I want you guys to notice that yesterday was 254 months since 9/11/2001. And 9/11/2001 happened on the 254th day of the year. So this is a perfect time to also be performing this 9/11 ritual. Okay? Because again, 9/11/2001 was the 254th day of the year, and we're in the 254th month, and Kurt Angle is repeating his same ritual he did 22 days before the actual 9/11. And he's repeating it on the 22 days left in the year. And he did you see what I mean, guys? He's repeating this ritual 22 days left in 2022, and he did the first milk ritual 22 days before the event, okay? And again, it's the 254th month anniversary, and 9/11 was the 254th day of the year. But now, remember, I told you guys that the first group he sprayed with milk was called the Alliance, okay? The second group he sprayed with milk was called Alpha Academy. Notice that the Alliance and Alpha Academy are direct matches. Direct matches, guys. What are the chances of this? That he repeats his ritual on a team that's exact match in 3 ciphers. Not just 1, but 3 ciphers. This is obvious. Again, because this is all scripted. Wrestling is known to be a scripted sport. So it's perfectly scripted. They write all these scripts. And again, guys, notice that the date numerology of yesterday when he performed his second Milk-O-Mania was 63 at the top, guys. 12 plus 9 plus 20 plus 22 equals 63. Notice that the Alliance and Alpha Academy both equal 63. So again, they're direct matches. The 2 teams are direct matches that both got sprayed with milk, and they both equal 63, and yesterday had 63 date numerology. I'm going to show you how that matters later on in the Decode. Alright? So if that wasn't enough, if you add the words Kurt Angle, who performed the ritual Milk-O-Mania 22 days before 9/11, it equals 207. And 22 days after he does this, there was a terrorist attack, which equals 207. And the Alliance, who represents Al-Qaeda, were the ones who performed the terrorist attack. They equal 207. Do you see what I mean? Absolutely, perfectly scripted. Alright? Next, let's fast forward to yesterday's Milk-O-Mania, where he repeated the ritual from 2001. There was 2 other guys involved in yesterday's ritual that I'm going to bring in here and show you how it's tied to Freemasonry and how it's tied to the Twin Towers and the twin symbolism. The first man, his name is Chad Gable. I want you guys to focus on the name Gable. Alright? But what I want you to know about Chad Gable is he was the one part of Alpha Academy yesterday who got the milk sprayed on him. Okay? And he's an Olympic athlete, just like Kurt Angle was an Olympic gold medalist. Okay? So and I'm going to show you the next guy who helped Kurt Angle spray Chad Gable with milk. His name was Gable Steveson. So again, guys, they have the same freaking name. You have Chad Gable, who gets sprayed with milk, and he gets sprayed with milk by Kurt Angle and Gable Stevenson, who shares the same name with the guy he sprayed milk with. They both have Gable. Okay? Also, Gable Steveson is an Olympic gold medalist. So all 3 of these guys are Olympic gold medalists. Kurt Angle, Chad Gable, and Gable Steveson. And again, Gable Steveson was the guy who helped Kurt Angle spray Chad Gable with milk yesterday. Alright? Now, Gable Steveson, just so you guys know, was born 66 weeks and 6 days before 9/11/2001. So this guy right here. And he's part of the ritual yesterday spraying another Gable with milk. And what's the reason they use this Gable? Well, the first reason is Gable and milk are exact matches in 2 ciphers. So what are the chances, again, guys, that there's 2 guys involved in this ritual yesterday where they get sprayed with milk, and both of them have the name Gable, and Gable is a direct match in 2 ciphers to milk. Okay? And again, spraying with milk was symbolic of the firefighters who put out the fire during 9/11, and also America, who had to put out the fire of the alliance between these terrorists, right? But now I want to talk about this clear symbolism, because I just told you that there was 2 Gables involved yesterday in this milk ritual. And the first one was Chad Gable, who got sprayed with milk, and the other one was Gable Steveson, who did the spraying. Both of them have the name Gable. Gable is a triangle, or an angle at the top of a house. The Freemasons have essentially a gable in their symbol. What's the word gable start with? Well, it starts with a G. So there's a reason why they chose the gable, which is an angle, which is direct reference to the angle in Freemasonry when they have the G, and gable starts with a G. Do you understand, guys? Now, it's just ridiculous. How can anyone not understand this simple symbolism? So again, a gable is a roof pitch that's angled at a triangle, all right? And the Freemasons use the square and compass, or the triangle, and gable starts with a G, and the Freemasons use the G, okay? Not only that, guys, if you take the two names here who sprayed the milk yesterday, gable and angle, it equals 204, which is a direct match to Master Builder, which is what the Freemasons are known as. And, guys, I told you that the number 22, which yesterday was 22 days left in the year, and Kurt Angle did his first milk ritual 22 days before 9/11, Master Builder is 204 like Gable Angle, but also Master Builder 22 is a Master Builder number. Also notice, guys, that the symbol for Freemasonry is the square and compass, which is this angle with the G in the middle. And if you just add the words Gable and Freemason, you're going to get a direct match to the symbol that they use, which is a square and compass. Both of them equal 60. Square and compass 60, and Gable Freemason 60. So these two Gables, Gable Steveson and Chad Gable, are representative of the Freemasons. Okay? And the two pillars, Yakin and Boaz. All right? And again, what happened 22 days after Kurt Angle did his original milk spray was the twins came down. Okay? And you could really look at Chad Gable and Gable Steveson as two twins. However, one twin is killing the other twin with the milk. So essentially, this is a reference to the biblical story of Cain and Abel, the two brothers. And you have Gable Steveson, who comes out and sprays milk at his brother, Chad Gable. Do you see what I mean? I know they're not actual brothers, guys, but the symbolism here is the name. They have twin names. They both share the name Gable. And this attack, or this milk spray, is a perfect ritual, because look what happens when you take the two names and you combine them, all right? So again, guys, the name of the guy who got sprayed with milk was Chad Gable. And the guy who sprayed the milk was Gable Steveson. If you insert these two names together and you put them in a perfect order, which means Chad Gable's first name is Chad and his last name is Gable. Gable Stevenson's first name is Gable and his last name is Steveson. So if you insert the Gable in between the Chad and the Steveson, you get almost a direct match to identical twins. Again, the twin symbolism, Yakin and Boaz, the twin towers. This also goes back to Elvis, who had an identical twin at birth, who died, right? Elvis is representative of Cain, who killed his twin at birth, all right? Cain and Abel. Also, guys, twins equals 22, just like how Kurt Angle sprayed his original milk 22 days before the Twin Towers came down. All right? And yesterday, the second milk ritual spray was with the day leaving 22 days in the year 22. All right? Now, again, going back to this, Chad Gable Steveson, which is a combination of the two guys who involved yesterday, is in a direct match to identical twins. All right? Notice that identical twins and Chad Gable Steveson both equal 63. And if you go back, I told you that the 63 was important because both of the groups that were sprayed with milk at the two different times equaled 63. And the date numerology of yesterday was 63. All right? So if we go forward again, back to the identical twins reference, their names equal 162. This is the number I want to focus on now. Because, guys, if you guys have been watching Jurassic Liar's channel, he talks about the next 9/11 being on June 11th, which is the perfect time for it to happen. Why? Because the original 9/11 was all about twins, twin towers. Okay? And would not it make sense that the next 9/11 would be on June 11th, which is the 162nd day of the year, just like identical twins equals 162. And remember, guys, June 11th is in Gemini, and Gemini is the twin sign, and it's on the 11th, and 11 is the twin number. All right? And it's the 162nd day of the year, just like identical twins equals 162. And I just showed you that these two twin names, Gable Steveson and Chad Gable, both, if you combine their names, it equals 162, which is almost a direct match to identical twins. And again, guys, this all goes back to Freemasonry, the twin pillars, all right? And one twin is always killing his brother, just like the story of Cain and Abel. There's always jealousy between these two brothers. So one twin, Cain, is always killing his brother Abel. But again, guys, twins equals 22. But just notice this, guys, that again, if you take the word Gable Angle, which is the two guys who sprayed the milk last night, it's a direct match to Cain and Abel. And it's a match to twin, okay, with the 66, which is just perfect. It's just perfect. And last but not least, this June 11th connection. So, I told you guys how big the 63 was yesterday. Remember, yesterday, the second time Kurt Angle sprayed milk, he sprayed milk on 12/9 yesterday, and that was a 63 date numerology. Okay? 12 plus 9 plus 20 plus 22 equals 63. And if you go forward 6 months and 3 days, you're going to land on June 11th, the twin date. June is in Gemini, the twins, and it's got the twin ones. And it's 6 months and 3 days after this twin ritual in WWE, which had 63 date numerology, and identical twins equals 63. Chad, Gable, Steveson, the two guys involved, equals 63. And again, guys, look at the 162. June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. Identical twins equals 162. And that's all I gotta say. Blessings, my friends. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.